What's going on, Shiny Crew? I'm TheSilverSlasher, and I have a question for you today. What makes Pokemon fun? This is something I've been thinking about a heck of a lot ever since the release of Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, because as I'm sure a lot of you know, Gen 7 just sort of completely missed the mark for me. I did still enjoy the games. I mean, it's Pokemon, you'd have to do a heck of a lot to ruin it, but I do think this is probably the lowest the franchise has ever been. Now, this is for a myriad of reasons, but one I think is overlooked and maybe a bit underrated is the absence of gyms. A lot have said that trials are virtually the same, but honestly they just aren't to me. There's a whole different soul to gyms and their leaders that I just don't really get from trials and their captains. So while praying with every fiber of my being that gyms come back in Gen 8, I thought it would be a kind of fun idea to take a look back at the gym leaders of the first 6 generations and count down my top 5 favorites. And I think the perfect way to start this video is where Pokemon Black and White start, with Silin, Chili, and Cress. Yes, I'm putting them all in one spot because basically the only difference is their monkey. Depending on the angle you look at it, this entry could be either extremely obvious or extremely surprising. I mean, the characters themselves are a little boring, but having 3 gym leaders that switch out depending on their opponent has never been done before or again since. For those of you who don't know, Pokemon Black and White were actually supposed to be soft reboots for the franchise, which basically means that everything starts over, even though it kind of plays and works out the same as the previous games. And this is why you can only find Gen 5 Pokemon for the entirety of Black and White's main game. And this also means that making the first gym into a lesson about type matchups was downright genius. Not only are you forced to select the type that's strong against the type on the curtain, but you have to fight the leader that has a type advantage against your starter. I don't really get the whole restaurant part, but I guess they just wanted them to have some kind of character outside of their monkey type, which is fine. According to Bulbapedia, the Striaton Gym is based on a butler cafe. I don't know what that is. While most cosplay restaurants and maid cafes cater mostly to men, there is also a type for women called the Butler Cafe. The butlers in these cafes are well-dressed male employees and may wear either a typical waiter's uniform or even a tuxedo or tails. This is so weird, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, look at him. One Butler Cafe has its waiters cosplay as team. Oh no. Either way, I think these 3 made a great start to Gen 5 and lead one of the most memorable gyms ever made. And with that, it's time to go on to number 4, Koga and Janine. They're ninjas. Okay, well, it's a little more complicated than that. Yes, it is true that approximately 0 things are cooler than ninjas, but this was also the first time we had ever experienced a gym switch hands over the course of 2 games. When you enter the Fuchsia City gym in Gen 1, Koga is the leader and ready to fight you for the Soul Badge. However, when you return to Kanto in Generation 2, his daughter Janine has taken over the gym and he's moved along to the Elite Four. I know we had something similar in Gen 5 with Iris, but she was only the gym leader in Opaloosid in White version, and Koga came first. And Koga's a ninja, so she really had no chance on this list. When you try to challenge him, he exclaims, "You shall feel the despair of poison and sleep techniques." Jeez, man, I'm just trying to have a little Pokemon battle with you. Plus, he commands poison types, which are pretty cool, and 2 of them are only weak to Psychic in any games after Gold and Silver. This means if you have a Psychic type, he'll probably be a bit of a pushover, but if you don't, he could be serious trouble for you. And lastly, the Invisible Maze is pretty neat. It's not that hard to get through, but that could be because the path is just kind of burned into my brain from years of playing Gen 1. Among Gen 1's set of gym leaders, Koga is definitely the greatest. With the exception of number 3... I'm just kidding, it's Volkner. Almost every time you meet a gym leader in the Pokemon world, you get a brief sentence or 2 about how strong they are and how much they're gonna beat you, and then they don't. After you experience this so many times, you sort of get this unconscious feeling that the world of being a gym leader is perfect, and they're all 100% happy putting trainer strength to the test. End of story. This is why I really like Volkner. Before you even meet the guy, Flint, a member of the Elite Four, comes up and says, "Hey man, so the gym leader of this town is like kinda depressed. The magic of being a gym leader has faded away for him, and he's not even sure if he wants to keep doing it. I'm gonna need you to go destroy him in battle and get him going again." Maybe you all didn't have the same reaction I did, but this was like eye-opening to me. Like, all of these gym leaders presumably just stomp weak trainer after weak trainer all day before you arrive, and this is one that is like legitimately upset with that fact. He specifically is frustrated by feeling like he's not being tested, and he says he's gonna challenge the Elite Four if he easily defeats you. Of course, if you win, he gets super excited about being a gym leader again, and it feels really good to help someone out like that. Also, both of his teams in Gen 4 are pretty sick. For some bizarre reason, in Diamond and Pearl, he uses 2 Pokemon that are not the type of his gym, which is neat, I guess. And in Platinum, he uses what I consider to be the 4 best pre-Gen 5 electric types. And that's about it. Volkner had a pleasant dose of character development before his fight, and then he brought some pretty awesome Pokemon to battle when he did fight. So I feel pretty comfortable putting him here on this list. Also, this gym sucks and I hate it. Number 2. For being such an unlikable character, I really do like Claire. Like, seriously. She's the worst, but she's the best. The worst best. Claire is one of 2 gym leaders in Gen 2 that doesn't give you the gym badge as soon as you beat them. Whitney doesn't because she's crying like a stupid piece of— and Claire takes it one step further, straight up refusing to give it to you and claiming that you don't deserve it yet, even though you beat her. She also claims to be the world's best Dragon Master, which obviously isn't true because her cousin Lance is way better. She even gets super frustrated with you when you pass the obvious Dragon Master test because she just doesn't understand how to be a good trainer. She's also a nightmare to face off against. Dragon is a damn strong type as it is, but the inherent design flaws of Gen 2 make her even more difficult to take down. Keep in mind that I adore Gen 2 with all my heart when I say this, but from a balancing standpoint, Gen 2 is probably the worst designed set of Pokemon games. Since they were trying to fit 2 regions into one game, there is a massive level inconsistency, and a lot of the Pokemon you go up against are super low level for the area they're in. But because of this, Claire, the 8th gym leader, only has Pokemon that are about level 40. This means your starter might not even be fully evolved yet, or if it is, it might not have been for too long. This can make her battle excruciatingly difficult, especially in Heart Gold Soul Silver where she has a Gyarados, which means that 2 of her Pokemon are only weak to 1 type. And as for the other 2, you'd have to be throwing out a Dragon type against a Dragon type, which means you're in just as much danger, or using an Ice type, which is likely from Ice Path, which you just got through. But for some weird reason, all of this frustration is just kind of endearing. I really do love Claire overall. But I guess you probably knew that, since she's at the number 2 spot. This is embarrassing. Let's move on to the honorable mentions. Yeah. Woo. Giovanni. It's pretty cool that the leader of the evil team was the last gym leader, I guess, but it's not like the craziest twist ever, so I didn't find myself caring that much. Sabrina. I really love her design and I love psychic types, but her gym is annoying, and in-game, she is pretty dang boring. Blaine. Really chill dude, and no matter how ironic that statement is, I like that he keeps running his gym after a freaking volcano blows it up. That's so hilarious to me. Norman. Having a dad is nice. Rourke. I don't know why I've always been drawn to Rourke, he just kinda seems like a cool dude, and he's related to another gym leader, which is pretty neat. Crasher Wake. This guy is freaking chill, I wanna hang out with him, and that's about it. I don't really have anything to say about his team, or his gym, or his role in the story, and yeah, that's why he's not on the list, but just look at this guy. And lastly, Skyla. I absolutely adore her design, and I like that even though her role in Gen 5 is small, she's very useful in the story, and I wish they'd do stuff like this more often. With those out of the way though, let's get to number 1. Look. I am a simple man, and this is a supermodel. Ilessa is just everything I could possibly want from a gym leader. She's got the look, she's got style, she's got a stake in the plot, and 2 unique gyms. Not to mention that electric type is one of the freaking best types in my opinion. Everything about her is just pristine. Gen 5 also does this crazy thing where the gym leaders actually have something to do in the plot outside of just standing in their gym, and I think Ilessa's role is probably my favorite. In Black and White, not only does she help put the Driftvale drawbridge down for you, but she also talks some sense into Bianca's dad and convinces him to let her continue on her journey. What a freaking bro. Or sis, I mean, whatever. She also switches to an even finer outfit in Black and White too, which is pretty great, not only because I like the new outfit more, but also because you don't really see Pokemon characters change that much in between games, mostly because characters don't often return. I just have this ghastly fear that I'm forgetting something about her. Well, unless I think of it right now, we're just gonna have to move on. I can't believe I forgot. Anyway, both of her gyms are downright fantastic, and even though it's simple, I freaking love the catwalk from Black and White too. I really don't know how many ways I can say it, but Ilessa is just the best, and that's why she is my favorite gym leader of all time. And with that, it's time for this video to come to a close. Did you agree with my list? Probably not, but that's why you can let me know what your list is in the comment section. If you like this video, then give it a like, you stooge. I'm sorry I called you a stooge that one time, that was really uncalled for. If you want more awesome Pokemon content, assuming you thought this was awesome, then be sure to slash that subscribe button. This has been the Silver Slasher, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.